All right, go ahead and throw a hand up if you got a question. Pretty sure we're going to have Kyle Young and Dwayne Washington Jr., but we're going to go as quick as we can with the players, get them moving so they can get showered and get out of there, and we'll let Coach go a little longer. But just a couple questions for the players, and we'll get them going. All right, there's Kyle. All right, Kyle, thanks for joining us. We're going to start off with Adam Jardy and Patrick Murphy on deck. Adam, go ahead.
Kyle, congratulations on the win. This seemed like it had the makings of maybe a trap game for you guys, coming off a big win, couple days off, and you came out a little bit slow. What did it take to get things going in the right direction?
Yeah, we came out a little slow in the beginning, but we needed to turn that around really quick and play with more toughness, aggressiveness. Once we started to do that, the game started to turn around a little bit. And then even starting the second half, we came out with much more energy than we did in the beginning. So it was tough starting off there, but we turned it around pretty quick.
Your game is a lot of those things, aggressiveness and toughness. Did you feel like you sort of took it upon yourself a little bit to try to get things rolling?
I would just say, like, early on, I wasn't really playing as tough as I should. On a few finishes, even on the defensive end, I wasn't playing with as much force as I should. So I wanted to switch that up pretty quick, and was able to do that.
Next up is Patrick Murphy, Colin Hasselhill on deck. Patrick.
Kyle, scoring hasn't been the thing that you do a ton, but a career high tonight with 18 points, I think. I know they don't have to run a ton for you, but you find ways to get to the basket. Just talk to us about how you were finding, especially in the second half. I think you had 11 of the 18 or something like that.
Yeah, just trying to find, let the game come to me in the first place. Playing off others, let my teammates create, get offensive rebounds, stuff like that. So when you're out there playing hard, and you're letting the game come to you, good things will happen. So that's all I'm trying to do is just, do whatever my team needs in the time being on the offensive end, defensive end.
In the first half, the threes were really falling for some of your guys. When that happens for you, how much does that open things up as they have to go out and guard those guys maybe a little bit tighter?
Oh, it's huge. When we're hitting, they're going to want to run guys off the line and get to them. So they'll leave, driving lanes open for certain guys and, allowing us to attack the paint, post up, stuff like that. So it definitely opens things up. And, we got a bunch of guys who can shoot the ball. So it's good.
All right, we'll go with Colin Hasselhill and finish up with Brendan Gulick. Colin, go ahead.
Kyle, you talked about, wanting to do what the team needs, and it felt like early in the second half, like they sort of needed something from you. And, you could hear Coach Holtmann yelling at you to get down the court and be physical down low. What was sort of the message from the coaches about you specifically and what they wanted to see more out of you in the second half?
Just playing with more force, being more of a presence. I needed to do that, and that was something I noticed as well. So, I couldn't come out and, play lightly at all. So, early on I was just trying to, play as hard as I could and, play with force and, was able to have some good things happen.
What's your confidence level as an outside shooter been throughout the season? Has it always, been that if there is an open shot that you feel really confident, or, you're not someone who came into the year having shot 100 threes before, but you're shooting them at a pretty high rate recently. What's your confidence level been like throughout the year?
It's just been feeling good. I put in a lot of work in the off season, and my teammates trusted me and want me to take those shots. So it's been feeling good. And once you see them go in, you're going to take more shots. So just if I get more open looks, I'm going to continue to take them.
All right, and our last questions for Kyle come from Brendan Gulick. Brendan.
Hey, Kyle, congrats on a big night tonight, both personally and as a team. I want to ask you about your individual game more than the team performance here. This is the best 2-game stretch that you've had in your career with 16 and 18 now. And frankly, in 2 big games where your team needed you for 2 different reasons, tonight because of some foul trouble for some of your teammates. You know, you're a veteran and a leader on this team, and I know you're battling through some injuries. Can you just tell us about the pride you take in trying to perform well on this level, you know, at this stage of your career?
You know, it's huge for me. I've been here, you know, it's my 4th year. Been through a lot, you know, with these guys. Bunch of different, you know, different teams with different guys on it. But, you know, just having experience and, you know, being a part of Ohio State, you know, being with these coaches for 4 years. You know, as my time here is winding down, you know, you don't want to take anything for granted, and, you know, you want to continue to, you know, play as hard as you can every time you step on the floor. So, you know, I'm just trying to go into every game, you know, giving everything I got, you know, regardless how my body feels. So that's all I've been focusing on, and, you know, good things have happened in the game, you know, has been coming to me.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
We get Dwayne Washington there. If you got a question, please raise the hand.
Okay, well, I've been shooting the ball so good because I've been passing to him a lot in practice.
There it is.
Overheard, y'all. Yeah, that's what it is. We do Coach T shooting, and I'm putting it right on the money, giving them. I'm telling y'all, giving them confidence. Hitting 20 of them.
There you go. Don't even need to ask him any questions. But we will start. We'll start with Adam Jardy and Patrick Murphy on deck. Adam, go ahead.
Hey, Dwayne, congratulations on the win. What, in your mind, was the key to turning around what was kind of a slow start and getting things rolling? What did you see change as the game went on?
I've been in that position too many times here as a Buckeye, and understanding that you just got to keep your head down and keep grinding. You know, we looked at Maryland and their film and stuff, and what their agenda was to do to other teams, and they played Wisconsin or Purdue, excuse me, and it was in the 40s with 4 minutes to go last war. So we knew it was going to be a grind game, a tough game. Started off a little slow. Coach yelled at us pretty tough, got us and set us straight. But you know, I knew we were gonna get our guys going. We just needed to have that one little push. Basketball's a game of runs, and whoever can control and those runs and have the most of those is gonna come out the victory. So we just kept our head down, took it on the chin, and kept trying to grind them down and take it possession by possession.
Why did you know you were going to be able to get your guys going? I feel like other teams here have had leads. They don't hold on. Why did you know that this team would be able to get it going?
Yeah, Maryland's a really good team at home. And this year they've shown they can win on the road as well. And you know, our memo coming into it was got to be the aggressors. Got to be confident and got to stick to what we do. So, you know, we just kept putting ourselves in the same positions. You know, a couple of shots didn't go in. EJ, you know, he was a little off early in the first half and stuff. So a couple of things didn't go our way, man. We knew it. We knew it wasn't. Seth made some big shots for us. And, you know, I hit a couple of threes to give us some juice. And, you know, my job is to just keep bringing the energy, man, make sure that we're always going hard and doing what we're supposed to do, playing Ohio State basketball. So I always had a feeling that, you know, we was going to get back into it and get done. We got to get done.
All right, next up is Patrick Murphy with Colin Hasselhill on deck. Patrick.
Dwayne, you guys have had a few games now where the three has really fallen well for you, but you've also shown the diversity. You mentioned EJ doesn't have a great offensive game tonight, but you can hit. Just talk about that diversity and you know, the ability to hit the threes as you've come on here, but also the other things that you guys can do that make you guys dangerous offensively.
Yeah, I think we take great pride in our abilities to be versatile and to do a lot of different things on the basketball court. I think that's why we're playing some really good basketball right now. It's hard to guard us. But, you know, a thing that we can do to balance that advantage out for the other team is you know, take poor shots. So we had a couple of them early, a couple of them in the second half as well that, you know, we're still getting better. We're grinding and we're learning from every single day. But shot selection is huge for us. You know, taking advantage of what we feel is a mismatch or what we feel we have the advantage in is huge in our offense and what we do here. So tonight, you you know, Justin's a very good shooter, confident in him, knocking him down. And we tell him always be ready. He has great confidence. So, you know, they're going to go in and they're going to go up and go in. So, and then obviously down low, EJZ, KY have done a great job finishing, being strong. And so, you know, whatever we feel during this game is going to help us win. That's what we're going to attack and then play really hard. So.
And Kyle's never been a guy you guys have had to run plays for. To have a guy like that on the offensive end who can give you 16 the other night, 18, but again, you're not running plays for him. What does that do when you know he's there to clean up the boards or whatever, but will still get his?
Yeah, he one of a kind, man. Kyle Young is the hardest working dude, hardest player I've ever played with, hardest playing player I've ever played with, man. And it's special. It goes unnoticed a lot. And tonight he got to get his career high. I'm so happy for him. And I just been giving him confidence, believing in him at the highest level, and rewarding him as much as we can, man. I mean, it's hard to ask a guy to do that, and I think he's really bought into that role. And as you can see, it showed itself tonight, and it's going to show itself way more throughout the year. And I'm super happy for him, and it's going to keep him rolling.
All right, next up is Colin Hasselhill with Phil Harrison on deck. Colin?
I know you called Kyle the hardest worker, but what's it like as a player to see someone who's, you know, maybe not 100% all the time, maybe not available for everything in practice, but every time you guys go out on the court for a game, he's there. He goes hard.
Yeah, I always tell people if I had to pick one guy to go and a tussle with, I'm picking Kyle Young. that's the guy I'm bringing with me everywhere I go, man. He on and off the court, and off the court, he's the sweetest dude. You know, he's a real kind, loving dude, man. And I'm really happy that he's in my life, and he's taught me so many things about you know, staying with it and working hard and trusting the process. And you know, he's been through, like you said, battling some injuries past couple of years, and you know, his head's on straight, and he's doing everything he can to help us, man. And I really appreciate him, man. It's not a lot of guys that's doing what he's doing, so very, very thankful for him.
All right, next up is Phil Harrison. We're going to finish up with Dwayne with Sean Dunnigan. Phil?
Hey, Dwayne, congratulations on a great win tonight. You had a great all-around game tonight. 4 assists, 4 rebounds, steal. But it looked like you had a much more concerted effort in trying to put the ball on the floor and take it into the hoop, into the lane, and open some things up for your teammates. Was that something that was a part of the game plan going into this, or just what you needed to do to win against Maryland today?
You know, we've been shooting the ball really well. It's been spreading some guys out on the defensive end. So, you know, attacking those gaps is something that Coach preached to us, you know, going into the second half and the beginning of the game as well. He's just attack them. They're going to crowd to the ball, bring 5 to the ball, and everybody's going to be in the paint. So look for kickouts. And a couple of those times when you got into the paint, everybody actually was staying with their man. So it was easy to just, you know, get your eyes on the rim and finish the ball. And getting in there and making some plays for the guys was, you know, just reading the game, taking what they're given. So.
And then, you know, everyone saw Chris Holtmann get a little animated in the huddle there. One of the timeouts when you guys were getting, you know, when you were struggling a little bit. I wonder if you just share how that huddle went, what was said, and maybe how you turned it around.
He just walked in, y'all. That's why I looked up like that. We needed it. That's what I'll say. You know, we were a little sluggish, a little slow. It was our first night game of the year. You know, we're going to learn from it. He definitely got on us, you know, and told us that we need to pick it up. And I think we got out of it what we needed to hear, and we took it to him.
Thanks, Dwayne.
All right. Our last question for Dwayne will be from Sean Dunnigan. Sean?
Dwayne, what's been the biggest difference between this year's team and teams in the past that you've been on here at Ohio State? Just seems like there's some sort of difference in a game, like how today went today. It might have gone differently in the last couple of years.
Our guys are really bought in. I said it last week. I'm gonna say it again this week. We're just really locked in and just really trying to get better every single day, man. We're doing a really good job. Working hard and staying with each other, staying connected, and trusting what we got going on here. And it's paying off. We're gonna keep grinding. Got a great team coming to our house on Saturday. So we're gonna get back to work as soon as we get back and watch the film, analyze it, learn about it, forget about it, move on.
Is there a moment when it kind of clicked for you, or where you noticed it clicked for the entire team during this season?
I mean, I'd say, it just slowly climbed. Every week we just got more connected, learned about each other, learned how we're going to win games, what we need to do to win games, what's important, what's not important, how we can lose games, being in game-winning situations, all that kind of stuff. Practicing. I think the guys are really bought in, getting better every single day in practice. And with that approach, man, you're going to get better, and it shows that. And if you trust that, it'll pay big dividends in the end. So.
All right, Dwayne, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. I got you, Coach. Let me switch this. Coach. I got you. Sir, clean up and get out of here.
All right, guys. Listen, I told Mark this. I got a lot of respect for this. The Maryland program and this Maryland team. Obviously, they lost, Smith and Cowan and some really good players. But you look at what they've done against some really quality opponents. One at Minnesota, one at Wisconsin, one at Illinois, they just have really had some impressive wins. So I think we were well aware of that. We're also well aware of the fact that we've not won here before. So, players win games. I thought our guys had a good focus and mindset about them, and was not terribly pleased with a couple early stretches. But outside of that, I thought it was a really quality performance. And now we've got to, as Dwayne said, turn the page to a really good Indiana team.
All right, we'll start it off with questions from Brendan Gulick with Patrick Murphy on deck. Brendan.
Coach, thanks for spending some time with us. Congrats on a big win. If we'd have told you before the game that you'd have had 2 field goals from E.J. Liddell and that Justice wouldn't have scored a single point tonight, and you'd have been in a game on the road that by the end, you certainly, at least at a couple points, had a comfortable margin. How much does that just continue to tell you about the depth that this team has, where you feel like maybe guys get in foul trouble or have off nights, and you feel like you can lean on other players?
Yeah, Brendan, I think that's been the hallmark of this team is the multiple guys. And listen, EJ Liddell is such a matchup issue. He's such a good player that teams are going to give him a lot of attention. And the beneficiaries of that were some other guys here tonight. And, I think for the most part, our guys were able to take advantage of it. And then I think EJ, missed a couple easy ones that he normally makes. Probably some frustration got to him a little bit, but I think in general, a guy like him who's as talented and as good as he is, he'll respond and come back and play well.
I realize it's a long stretch. I'm not going to ask you about the entire stretch, but you held Maryland to 1 basket from the floor over what amounted to almost 13 minutes between the first and second half. Is there anything about that stretch where you felt like you were really playing good defense, or was it a product of them just not firing offensively?
Well, I thought, Brendan, that we played with more force, had better wall-ups. I also thought we had better communication. I also thought that they missed some clean and open looks. So I think it was a combination of both. I think they missed some shots that they're normally going to make, but we did play with more force.
All right, next up is Patrick Murphy with Adam Jardy on deck. Patrick.
Chris, I think it was after one of the Purdue games I asked you about falling in love with the 3 a little bit too much, and you said you thought you guys did. Since then, you guys have really used the 3 to your benefit, and especially early tonight when that was all you were getting. How have you seen that improve from your team, and why has it become a strength when maybe early in the year it wasn't as big of a thing for you guys offensively?
Yeah, I thought we did a better job not falling entirely in love with it after we went 8 of 16 in the first half. I thought we probably took a few too many of them, but some of that is that's what we have out on the floor is guys that do that, a number of them. But I thought we were more intentional about getting to the paint, and we have talked a lot about that Purdue game. Now, some of it is Purdue plays defense differently than these guys do. And if we were to play Purdue again, I think our 3 attempts would still be relatively high, as long as they were good ones. But I also would hope that we would be a little bit more intentional and play with a little bit more force. But some of that is dictated by how teams are playing you. And I thought we did a better job in the second half about being, getting the ball where we needed to.
And is that something that builds confidence-wise? I mean, when guys that can hit them start hitting them in games consistently, does that just raise the confidence in those guys to knock them down?
Yeah, I mean, we have guys with high-level confidence right now. Really high-level confidence. Really, a number of guys shooting the ball, and just in general, Justin, Kyle, Dwayne. It was good to see CJ knock down that open one tonight because he's more than capable of doing that. So BJ has been shooting it very well, particularly in league play. Justice has shot it well. And then Seth gave us a huge lift, making a couple when we were struggling. He gave us a huge lift, making a couple threes.
Next up is Adam Jardy with Dan Hope on deck. Adam?
Chris, there were 2 interesting technical fouls in this game. Can you tell us what the officials relayed to you as far as what happened on each of those?
Justin, they said he said something to the bench. Justin admitted to it. You can't talk to another team's bench. He was just excited for his teammate. And then I believe there was a reaction to, on their part, to a call. Or I'm not sure if Morcell was reacting to a call or not. I really don't know the specifics. I tend to not ask what another team's technical is for, but I will ask when we get one.
And then you talked about kind of getting into your team in the first half there and trying to get more force out of them. How as this season has gone on, have you learned as far, I guess, pushing that button when you can really get into them and try to get more than they're giving you at that moment? How has that evolved with this team?
I mean, sometimes, people think it's some type of a motivational ploy to, get on your team in a timeout. Reality is you're just angry. You're just venting. You're angry. I think our guys know I don't do that necessarily on purpose or as any type of motivational ploy. I did not think we were playing with the amount of force or effort that we needed to. Now, Maryland had something to do with that. I thought they were doing some really good things. And I did a poor job making a call early in the game that gave them an open 3. But I just did not think we were playing with the necessary force or physicality. They were walling us up and we were not finishing. And so we addressed that, or I addressed it. And listen, we got a great group. It's super coachable. They're a phenomenal group to coach. They want to win. They knew we hadn't won here before, and they responded.
All right, next up is Dan Hope with Phil Harrison on deck. Dan?
Hey, Chris, in a year like this where you guys, have had to deal with the challenges of COVID and so many different things than usual, how much do you think it's benefiting you guys that you have a lot of veterans on this team and a lot of guys who've been playing together for 2, 3, 4 years?
I think that helps, Dan. We've been trying to build towards that. Everybody knows that. I've mentioned the importance of building with guys that have been a part of our program, that understand how we do things, where there's some consistency and, this narrative in the off season that, in terms of our roster just wasn't accurate, because when you looked at it, we had a lot of guys that were returning that we thought were going to play valuable roles. But I think, Dan, to your point, what helps is a core of returning guys who have an understanding of how we do things and have embraced that. They got to embrace it. And then on top of that, the addition of just some really good kids, good players, good people. So in a year when, you're being challenged in a lot of ways, just the quality of your team and their ability to focus, the maturity of your team, it's essential. And we've got a mature team. I've said that from day one. We're not, it's not like we're the oldest team or one of the oldest teams in college basketball. But, and I've always said this, you know, age and maturity don't always equate. I'm a great example of that. But in this group here, we've got a mature group. And that maturity has allowed us, I think, to be able to play home and on the road or, you know, just be able to play in different environments, I should say, and have the necessary understanding of how to prepare to play your best.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, next up is Phil Harrison with Bruce Hooley on deck. Phil?
Hey, Chris, along those same lines, I mean, you know, you've rattled off quite a few pretty good wins here already this year, and I know it's hard to appreciate, you know, what you've done at this point. You don't ever want to rest on what you've done so far. But with all the uncertainties of this year with COVID and some new faces on the team, is this, you know, are you a little surprised about where this team is at? Is it a little bit ahead of schedule than what even you thought coming into the year?
Sure. I don't think you ever anticipate in this league winning whatever it's been, 6 out of 7, 7 out of 8, 8 out of 9, whatever it's been. I don't think you ever, to your point, anticipate that. And on top of that, I thought we had a bit of a bumpy non-conference season for those of you that saw us early, but a clean one nonetheless. But it was bumpy. Yeah, I don't think I don't mind admitting and saying, you know, I felt optimistic about this group, but you know, I'm not also not going to ignore the fact that there is some surprise in terms of I think we've gelled in a quicker way. We've also seen guys, really good players, emerge into really good players, but you don't always know if that's going to happen. You just don't know what a team's collective spirit is going to be from year to year. We're still writing our story, so I'm hesitant to say too much, but yeah, felt really good and really good.
And what would you say is the main reason why this team has gotten so much better so quickly in the face of all that?
You know, I think guys individually have gotten players we've seen. You know, we've got some really good players that have stepped up at different times. And we talk about how phenomenal was Kyle Young tonight. You know, Justice has had great moments. CJ Walker, and then our two leading scorers, Dwayne and EJ, and I think in Zed's coming off the bench, and Gene and Musa and Seth, and you know, EJ's turned in. So I think we've had a collection of. We've got a really balanced group, and then I think to Dwayne's point, their buy-in has been phenomenal. It's been phenomenal. And it's hard to quantify what that means for a team, right? It's just hard to. And if we continue to have that, we'll see what story we can write.
Thanks, Coach.
We got a few more hands up here. We'll try to get to everyone if we can just limit it to one question.
Is that the yellow thing that's up there on every screen? The yellow thing, is that a hand?
Yep.
All right, let's rattle them off here. I'll
We're
start.
going to try to get to one question each. We can get them moving. Bruce Hooley's up next with Stephen Means on deck. Bruce?
Chris, when you have to coach against someone who shoots the percentage Justin shoots from three-point range, what does it force you to do that complicates game planning for a team defensively?
It's just you're always aware of him, Bruce. Always aware of him when he's that proficient. And we've coached against a few that are in the rhythm that he's in, but he's been in that rhythm for the better part of a month and a half, 2 months. You're just always aware of him. So it stretches your defense and it makes your attention to detail have to be so high level. And our guys have done a good job finding him. I thought CJ Walker's play on the break to him was terrific.
All right, next up, Stephen Means with Adam Jardy on deck. Stephen?
Just kind of to that point, I mean, the shooting, we've seen that before with Justin. He's had games the last 2 years where he just kind of went off with that. But the problem has never been that. It's been on the defensive end, which it's been hard maybe to keep him on the floor because that doesn't necessarily match what he's doing offensively. Can you just talk about how he's improved to the point that, I mean, he's never going to be an elite lockdown
Right.
defender. He's to the point where you're able to take advantage of what he can do offensively now.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't love the whole, well, he struggles defensively, but coach, remember, threes are more than twos. I don't buy that. I can't stand it when I hear that, because it's not like I'm trying to give up twos either. I think what he's done is his attention to detail defensively has been good. So he's been a talker, a communicator, scouting report. He's have a high level attention to detail. He did not have that his first year. He did not have that his first year and a half. He just didn't. I think he's understood that, hey, if he's going to be a team defender, if he's going to be a good defender, a defender that can be out on the floor for consistent minutes, he has to be an elite team defender. And that's what he's got to do. It's what he's got to continue to do.
All right, next up is Adam Jardy with Colin Hasselhill on deck. Adam?
Chris, you mentioned letting these guys know that they had never won here before, and Kyle mentioned that a little bit. To see him continue to battle through everything he's kind of gone through physically, and to have a night like he had for you tonight, it seemed like he really, whenever you needed a rebound, he was there. When you needed a bucket in the paint, he was able to get it for you. What sort of impact did he have on this game?
He was phenomenal. I thought he led the way. In that area. I thought, winning this game was important to him because we hadn't won. And I texted him that last night because Ryan Peden had sent it to me, and the scores of our games here. And obviously we haven't played a ton of games, and Maryland's got a great program. So they played really well. They play really well here. Obviously it's so much different given the neutral environment. But yeah, I sent him that text. I think, that resonated with those guys in terms of wanting to be the first team to win here.
All right, next up is Colin Hasselhill with Patrick Murphy on deck. Colin?
Chris, you talked about how Kyle's not always practicing. How much is he actually practicing? And also, is it hard sometimes not to take for granted someone that's not always 100%, maybe not always practicing, but every time that you're in a game, he brings it every single time, no matter what.
Yeah. No, he's a really good player and underrated in a lot of ways, I think. But he's a fourth-year kid who was. Right. Remember, Colin, he was second to Caleb in Mr. Basketball. He was a good player coming out of high school. And it's just grown, and his game has grown. But yeah, it was hard. He could not play much, or he could not practice after going against Garza like he did. So he needed 2 full days off because his legs were too sore. So he was only able to go 1 day before we played.
All right, last 2 questions will be from Patrick Murphy and Tony German. Patrick, go ahead.
Another Kyle question, but his value when you don't have to run a play for him on the offensive end. We see the putback dunks and stuff, but from a coaching perspective, knowing you have a guy who can do that, that doesn't need things drawn up for him, how much does that help in offense?
Well, yeah, he's done that his whole career, and we've drawn a few more things up for him and run a few more things for him now. Than what we did before. But yeah, he just plays. He just plays. Ohio State winning, it matters to all of our guys. But when you have a 4th-year guy, it really matters to a kid like that. And on top of that, his energy is tremendous.
So Tony, take us home.
Chris, one last thing on Kyle Young. You mentioned the team's collective spirit. How much has it helped that every single guy on this team gets to see Kyle Young, like their entire career, all they've seen is Kyle Young out there? Yeah,
no, I think he's a great example. And we miss him when he can't practice, honestly. It affects our practice in a lot of ways. We don't feel it as much, because he's an older kid who does bring energy. But I think, I'm just really happy for him too that his game has continued to grow, because it really has. He's taken a giant leap. We talk about EJ being improved, and he is, and he's been tremendous, and Dwayne and Justin, but Kyle Young, throw him in there. His growth has been really, really important for us. And we've got to continue to do that. Obviously, we got a big time challenge here in a few days against the Indiana front line that I think is as good as anybody in the league. We'll talk more of that about that. Is it almost midnight? Holy smokes. All right, guys. Like, anything else?
That's all. Thanks, Coach.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Travel safe. Travel safe back, Adam. See you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a good night.